following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome back to another episode of Niagara Stuff. It's your boy Stens, and my guest today is Nick Hurd, entrepreneur extraordinaire. How's it going today, Nick?
I'm doing pretty good.
Thanks
for having me on.
Braving the winter weather today.
Yes.
To make it out. Thank you very much.
I know everybody else has been complaining about all this snow
I love
in
it.
Niagara. We've had like nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
And all of a sudden we got it.
Yeah, so thank you for coming out today. In my never-ending quest to promote small business, I wanted to have local entrepreneurs on, and you are definitely an entrepreneur of a couple different businesses. Can you give the viewers and listeners kind of a synopsis of things that are going on, or a little catch-up introduction to you?
Sure, yeah. So everything started with Niagara Falls Adventures, is a walking tour company. I started that in 2018. That grew, and we started planning trips for other people. We found people do the Maid of the Mist, the Cave of the Winds. They're trying to figure out what else to do. Mm-hmm. So that's when we started Explore Niagara. So that's really about educating people on what else to do, extending your stay. Don't just stay one night, 2 nights, stay a week. Mm-hmm. And then from there, we were planning trips for people, big bus groups coming in, trying to find a good spot for them to be able to go grab something to eat, do some shopping, and there just wasn't really an ideal spot for it. So we talked to Niagara University and opened up the space to help promote entrepreneurs, but then also have a spot for those entrepreneurs to be able to show what they have to those tourists that are coming in. So.
And that's when Tugby's.
That's right.
So that's a whole nother endeavor, right, that branched off of the tourism aspect. Tell us some about that, because that goes back decades, the original Tugby's.
Yeah, so the original Tugby's, mid-1800s, Thomas Tugby, he had started his souvenir store. It was literally the building as close to the bridge to get over to Goat Island as possible. So he ended up expanding that building. And then 1885, the Free Niagara movement kicks in. The state ends up buying the park and turns it into the state park as we know it. And one of the things that went away was Tugby's Bazaar. So,
and now that would have sat by like Red Coach area, or?
Yeah, so a little bit closer to the river than Red Coach.
Wow. And so the original iteration of Tugby's was there, and now it's at, is it 616?
616, yeah, that's right. So it's across the street from the gas station, from the casino, 616 Niagara. In fact, the original name was going to be the 616, but we ended up...
Instead of 716?
Instead of 716. Right. Well, there was a little bit of confusion with that.
Yeah.
But then also, during the eclipse... Nico, who is the manager, he dresses up as Thomas Tugby. He is Tugby.
He's a very theatrical guy.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So during the eclipse, he decided to dress up, and he was going to usher people into the building. Yeah. And so he just put a little card in his hat that said T Tugby, and there's this little history nerd thing that he was doing. And we're like, you know what? Why don't we do Tugby's?
Right. Yeah. Tap into that. So that was the original idea of Tugby's right from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you ditched the 616.
Yes.
Went with Tugby's.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any, just thinking at the top of my head, any family connection, anything to it? Is there anybody came out of the woodwork and said, hey, that's my great uncle? Or
So we haven't had anybody specifically related to Tugby. We've had a lot of people that have come out with history related to the building that we're actually in.
Okay.
We've had some people that have come out with, hey, I have this old artifact. So we have like an original picture from the original Tugby. So this is nice. Like, I don't know, 1870, 1880.
Of the inside?
From the outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have the Tugby's Illustrated Guide to Niagara Falls. So we're figuring that is coming from around 1890, that book is from. But it's pretty cool. It's like behind glass in our building.
Yeah, right.
We have one of the original souvenirs. It was a little plate. It says Niagara Falls, and it says imported from Germany for T Tugby.
Nice.
So cool stuff.
Now, is there family or anybody? Is there Tugby's around here at all anymore?
Not that we know of.
Perfect. It's perfect for you. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, I also heard that you don't have any there isn't a photo that exists of him,
Of
or
him
have you found one
specifically.
since okay?
So of
Just a
him
few months ago.
specifically, no. So we have one that we're pretty sure one of these two people is Tugby.
Yeah.
We're not positive, but I have a funny story about that. One of our friends, they saw the mural that we have on the side.
Yeah.
And like, I just can't get over how much Nico looks like Tugby.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
It's reincarnated.
He doesn't because
right?
it's a picture of Nico.
Oh.
Yeah,
oh,
it's a
that's
drawing
right.
of
Oh,
Nico
yeah, what am I
on the
talking
wall.
about? Yeah.
But they're like, I can't get
That's
over how
hilarious.
much they look like him.
Oh, that's perfect.
So, yeah.
And you have that mural inside too,
Yes.
right? Now that's a historic mural.
Yeah, so there's
Is
the
that-
Quaker mural as well.
Yeah.
So that was uncovered when they were doing
I remember that was in the newspaper and back then when they were doing the building.
Yeah, so when they
Yeah.
first turned it into Trek, which was the original incubator, like mentality, now we're doing a different type of way to promote entrepreneurship in the building, through this model. But yeah.
Great. Now that used to be, was it a deli at one point, maybe years
Yeah,
ago?
so there was a confections shop, but yeah, it was like a deli.
Yeah.
On the far end of the building.
Cool. Now is there anything else going in that strip anytime soon, or there is? Or?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
our plan is to put some sort of an attraction. We have some renderings of what it is that we'd like to do. We're just kind of waiting for phase 2 for funding for that.
Great.
But our whole model is essentially get somebody in there, have it run for a few years, get their footing, figure out what they're doing, and then have them move out into the city and then get a new attraction. in
Okay,
there.
great.
Same with the cafe space that's in there. Maybe a few years, go out and then get a new place in there.
Get established to where they could then make something grow closer or wherever they want in the city, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're doing entrepreneurial training in the building as well. So like all of our vendors, we're going to be starting to offer classes for them.
Wow.
So it's kind of a goal of ours is to just kind of raise up a level of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Niagara Falls has had a lot of these like plans that
Oh,
are going to
great
have
ideas.
1,000 employees,
Yeah, yeah.
from it. And so my hope is, well, if I can help 100 entrepreneurs grow their business
Yeah.
to employ 10 people, well, there's 1,000 jobs there.
Right.
But then when one of them goes out of business, there's still 990 jobs.
Yeah. I've heard people refer to Niagara Falls as like the city of artist renderings, because over the past 50 years, that's all it's been, are those like opaque pictures with the people that you could see through, and it shows all the different landscapes and things that are going to be built, and then that dies down and a new one gets built, or the ideas come through. So, I mean, wishing you nothing but the best on that. That's
Thanks.
great. And that's a tough little patch there that was, it looked one way 10 years ago, and now it looks totally different.
Yeah,
That whole
absolutely.
strip, or well, even 15, 20 years ago now.
And that's kind of our hope, is that like us really establishing that spot. Plus
Yeah.
there's Street Cafe that's like 2 doors down.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little cafe,
Yeah.
And then there's what was the Tugby, it's called the Tugby Lennon Building.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of little places in there. So our hope is that it'll make that whole strip, walkable.
Mm-hmm.
People will want to walk it. Tugby's being their final destination.
Was Tugby, why is that building called Tugby? Was just
So I'm
historic?
not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it is connected to the original Thomas
Somehow
Tugby.
the owners owned that too.
Yeah, so I know that his brother had a shop as well. So
Okay.
I'm not sure which building was what, but
Yeah.
I think that it was tied to him.
Is that brewery still coming in there, or is that long gone? I mean,
I
that
haven't
was
heard
in
anything
one of those
about
little
it.
slivers in there, right? That
Yeah, I know that
couple over.
they wanted to, but I haven't heard
yeah,
anything yet.
no, me neither. But like, some things, you go to the New York State was there and did a little presentation in that and sounded awesome, and then you just don't hear about it again. So it's good that. But then there's some of those flowers bloom like yours, so
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
awesome. Yeah, right.
So hopefully we'll get
All
a
my
lot more
vegetables
of
don't grow
those.
in the summer, but some of the plants grow pretty good. So yeah, that'll be awesome watching everything. So you said Niagara Falls Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back into the summer, you're slammed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's busy.
And I never really realized before that it's a subculture. The tourism industry in Niagara Falls is like a subculture. It's a whole different level of. I mean, I just don't think of it because you go there and you see the falls and that, and then we leave because we're hometownners.
Yeah, like
But
unless you're
there's
involved
different little
in
facets
tourism.
there that there's that your outfit, then there's the other guys, and then there's the other girls that own the tourism companies, and you guys are kind of fighting over, not fighting, but
Yeah.
you guys are
Like
Yeah.
we're like the sharks and the jets in
yeah,
the streets.
yeah, right. Just waiting to come to us.
Yeah.
But so it's a little bit of a battle during those months. Is that Memorial Day to Labor Day? Is that
Yeah, that's pretty much the peak season.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. Our friend Rob does some tours with you.
Yes.
Another theatrical guy. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Rob's
he might,
great.
he might pretend like he's not into theater and stuff, but he loves to spin a yarn.
Oh, he
you
sure
know?
does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he specializes in the tours with like the big groups of, older ladies. They
Got to
eat
be in his
him
glory.
up.
Yeah.
They eat him up.
He got to be in his glory.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the Festival of Slice last week, performing when he's talking to you, it's like, dude, it's funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I was signing up for something. He came behind me and grabbed me. I go, you gotta be so aggressive. Like, he's just so happy to be out, and he's at the Festival of Slice. So yeah, it was a pretty cool event. It was good to see him.
Yeah, we have some cool tour guides. Howard Simon works for us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he's one of our tour guides.
Is he doing sports at all? He's retired, right?
Yeah, and he's retired, but I still see him out there, and
Yeah.
random reels, they'll show up.
Oh, really?
I'll be like, oh,
Cool.
there's Howard.
Nice. Yeah, it's a cool, like I said, a subculture of things going on down there that as a hometowner you don't even really recognize, And now with Tugby's, your goal is for the next 3 weeks will be bringing in customers to do some Christmas shopping.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about some of the products and some of the just general?
Sure. I mean, so we have incredible candles and soaps and local coffee. We carry some DeCamillo's goods inside the store as well. Really trying to hit people with... It's convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to hit people with the local stuff.
Great.
There's also a really interesting story. Actually, I brought this in. So Tugby's was known for what's called Niagara Spar. So when they dug out the Erie Canal, they would come across these pockets of gypsum. And so the husbands would take the gypsum home, their wives would turn it into jewelry, go down to the falls over to Tugby's, and they would tell people, my husband is a scientist, and he figured out a process to crystallize the mist of Niagara Falls.
Good.
And so they're scamming people.
Oh, yeah.
So we brought it back no longer as a scam. Now we're teaching you, a piece of history.
Right.
But yeah, so we had somebody from a TV show that I was on. It's called The Blocks. It was for entrepreneurs. But we have the jeweler, Sugar Gay, and she made these
Nice.
earrings, and we have necklaces and just a whole bunch of this Niagara Spar
Very
jewelry. So that's one of the things that we feature.
Great Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we have a Christmas section. We have Santa. He'll be there every Friday evening and Saturday. We're doing gingerbread decorating this Saturday. The 14th, we're doing a paint night. The 21st, we're doing sugar cookie decorating. So
Nice.
come on down, decorate your cookies, take them home, leave the mess
Yeah,
at
right.
Tugby's.
Yeah, that's
Don't worry about messing up your
Yeah, yeah.
kitchen. So that's kind of some of our hope is...
Everybody's kitchen's going to be messed up for the next 3 weeks.
That's
and
right.
everybody's house, what do they say? It's the most wonderful mess or whatever. The Christmas messes, you're supposed to like accept it and say, no, that's the love in this household. So yeah,
that's right.
a lot of love at Tugby's and everywhere for Christmas. That's cool. And then the tourism season will start back up over.
Yeah.
Right? And it's rolling into the winter now more than ever.
Yeah, I would say it's been a little bit busier. In the holidays, we'll get like an extra boost. So Thanksgiving we had an extra boost.
Yes.
Christmas we will. New Year's we will.
Yeah.
We'll have another one for Valentine's Day, and then it kind of gets kind of bitter cold. So there's a lot of people that will still come to see the falls frozen. The mist on the trees, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what we're trying to promote to people is. Listen, like people go to New York City to go ice skating year round.
Right.
Come to Niagara Falls. Like, it's not hurricane deck season,
Right.
but it's definitely something to see.
Definitely, no doubt about it. World famous. Where else do you send people when they come here and after they've seen the falls and done some of the local in the area things? Where would they go for the next couple days that you would suggest?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously there's May the Mist, Cave of the Winds. There's the helicopter, there's the airplanes over Niagara, but then you have the museums. So there's the aquarium, there's Underground Railroad Heritage Center, Castellani Art Museum, there's the Power Vista, Old Fort Niagara. You got the jet boat. I mean, so there's like there's a laundry list of things to do. I mean, we have a great winery scene in Niagara Falls. But yeah, so we help build people's itineraries. So when they're coming to Niagara Falls, they call us. We're starting to do these webinars online, so kind of educate people on what there's to do. And then all of those things I listed, that was just the U.S. side. I mean, obviously everybody, they send everybody to the Canadian side, and we're kind of the opposite of that. It's like, no, let's build up your itinerary with as much as there is to do on the U.S. side, because there is things to do.
Yeah.
And then go over to the Canadian side. If you're still looking to do some mini golf, sure.
Yeah, right. And
go for it.
Under the dinosaurs or whatever else is out there. How far out do you go as far as referring, like, do you Buffalo at all? Are people interested?
It's pretty much based off of what it is that people are looking for. So, like, we send a lot of people to Lewiston, Youngstown. We'll send people to Buffalo. I have a good friend, Joel Dombrowski, who does tours over in Buffalo, so we'll send people that way. Right. It depends on what they're looking for. So if they're looking for wings, a lot of times we will send them to the Buffalo Anchor Bar, but we always tell them, like, if you're not looking for, like, the original, we have an Anchor Bar in downtown Niagara Falls too. So,
or just good wings in general, go here. But if you want the original, the start of it,
exactly,
you can head to Buffalo. We'll let you go there.
And let's be real, like, as locals, I mean, every hole in the wall is the best place to get wings.
Yeah, and they're mostly chicken wings to me. You know, it's not my favorite. It's not pizza, but it's pretty damn close. So, Judy's would be my place that I'd send most. Those are pretty good.
I get that recommendation all the time.
Have you had them?
I have not been there.
No, they're good. And
I've been to Gotta Have It.
Gotta Have It's good too. Gotta Have It has good pizza logs and, like, steak logs. Yeah, those are really good there. Which brings us to the age-old question too: of what pizza place would you go to for if you're going to have one or two slices in Niagara Falls?
Okay, so here's the thing: is I didn't grow up in Niagara Falls, so I grew up in Cheektowaga, and so we already have, like, our go-to, and so I'm constantly asking people, where do I go? And then I get a recommendation. I try it. I'm like, it's good, but it's just
to let down every time, or not as pumped up as.
So right now, Papa Leo's is kind of our consistent with a sweet sauce.
Yeah.
But
they're good.
But we just haven't really found a place. I mean, I do enjoy, like, the Anchor Bar's pizza. Yeah. But you're gonna pay every time you want to get Anchor Bar pizza.
Right. I suggest Mario's. You've had that? Mario's on Old Falls?
No, I haven't.
A fresh,
yes.
That's
I've had
good.
Mario's. I agree. I like Donatello's as well.
Donatello's. Leon's. Have you had Leon's on Porter? That's my favorite place. Okay. I'll admit the cheese slices are my go-to, but I'm not going to push it on you. The reason I think a lot of people, or my friends too, like Leon's is because at the Summit Mall they had a Leon's back when we were growing up. Okay, so it's like nostalgic slice also. So give it a try. I'll give you a money back guarantee. Buy a couple slices. All right. If you don't like it, good. I'll pay for the next place you.
I mean, the problem is I will like it. It just won't be.
I know.
What I'm.
Everybody has their own.
Maybe it will be.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll get there. The quest.
Gotta find somewhere. Yeah. Eventually.
How about a burger? Where would you go for that?
So I was a big fan of Rock Burger.
Mm-hmm. You say was? Are they closed?
Well, I know that he's not out of.
By the ground route or the old, across from Ollie's.
Yeah, he was over. Is it Partners?
Oh, okay. Players.
Yeah, he was in Players.
I'm out of the loop. I thought he might be going back there now.
No, so I just talked to him the other day.
Oh, okay.
He just wasn't in there.
Oh, all right.
So I'm not sure when he
Rock
plans
Burger
to
was
go
good.
back. But yeah, that was
a
kind
good
of
burger.
my go-to place.
There was one called The Tourist. I think that was my favorite burger in the place.
I liked that his menu had all of these different, like, Niagara Falls.
Yeah, and it was like goat cheese or something stuffed. That was a good one. Yeah. So good. Yeah. See, there's a lot of promotion of small business on here, right?
That's kind of my whole thing.
Yeah.
Is promote the U.S. side of Niagara Falls and promote entrepreneurship.
It's fun and it's helpful.
Yeah.
What was the? Can you tell us more about The Block?
The Blocks? Yeah, the show that I was on. So it's an entrepreneurship reality TV show. I went on season 5. And I did pretty good. I was the first loser. So
that's good, right? Yeah.
Right. But when the audience watched it, they liked me, I guess, and so they asked me to go back for season 8.
Oh, cool.
And so that was.
Is it streaming or was it on an actual network?
So
TV?
So season 6 and season 7, the 2 seasons that I'm not on,
of course,
in between, those are on Prime Video.
Oh, cool.
Then they're working on expanding that. But you can watch everything for free on Facebook Watch.
Cool.
So if you go
that's
to,
where we can catch it.
Yeah, I think it's Beta Blocks. If you go onto that that Facebook page. You can
And
watch
is it spelled BLO?
BETA for beta.
Yeah.
BLOX.
Okay. I think I watched when you were posting it. I watched a couple like the segments that you had up there on that. But
and season 8 is like all about me. I was the only returning player, so it was kind of weird.
Can you say how you did or whatever? Or no?
It's been out for a while, so
Okay.
I got runner up.
Nice.
Yeah, so
you'll be on season 9 and 10, like the all-star cast.
I'm not on season 9 or 10, but I did just recently get asked to come back as a judge.
Oh, great. Cool.
Yeah.
It'll be like Survivor 25 years later, still going.
Right.
You know, you're one of the original contestants or the real world. Or
Yeah, they're
whatever.
on like season 19 already.
Yeah. I don't understand how they do the seasons aren't years. They're just production seasons. Because there's some shows that say, this is our 25th year. I'm like, it's only been on for 10 years. So it must be a spring and a fall. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know Survivor's doing it like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The blocks, they're just pumping out seasons over
Cool.
and over.
Nice.
You know, because it's great for the entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
You know, just the fact that you're able to say I was on this show, you know, that's
awesome.
good.
Yeah. All publicity, right?
Absolutely.
What's next for Tugby's and that and your building? Anything like once Christmas is over, Tugby's, everything will kind of take a lull, like you said, when the holidays line up. But any new big news of other entrepreneurs in your place?
So we have a lot of events that we're going to be doing in our spot. It's just really, we want to get the community back out doing stuff. I feel like we've been getting all these people from the locals coming out, and they're just like, man, I've missed this about Niagara Falls. You know, so we've listened to the heartbeat of Niagara Falls, and we're trying to bring it back.
Right. And then, you know, when something like that happens, everybody's excited about it, but that excitement has to continue. You have to, otherwise people will forget about it. And, so you're going to have to constantly plug away on the holidays, and then it becomes tradition.
All I'll say is I can't spoil anything, but keep an eye out for Tugby's, because we're going to be doing some really interesting things. Yeah.
Good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
and Nico's a trip too.
I know.
He's funny.
Oh, Nico and I will sit there and we'll just brainstorm ideas, and some of them I'm like,
I can imagine how offbeat some of the, Nico's ideas come up with. Is he still doing a podcast?
So they were doing theirs. It went on a lull. We're looking to do one with our Explore Niagara business.
Great.
So that would be me and him.
In
and then
the
we're
building.
looking to bring in guests.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds pretty exciting. I mean, you got a lot of things going on. Now, in your downtime, what do you like to do?
Well, I have 3 kids.
Is there downtime? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
I have 3 kids.
Another full-time job.
Another one on the way.
Really? Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, and actually I'm 4 for 4 for whether they're boys or whether they're girls. My wife and I, we wanted to have 5 kids. And I came up with my ideal situation. It would be boy, so they're close in age, and then a girl, because there's too much boy in the house, right? And then I wanted her to have a little sister, but I wanted the little sister to have an older brother. So boy, girl was my prediction, and I'm at boy, girl, and now we have a boy coming.
Wow.
So 4 for 4.
All right. So then in a couple of years, it'll be the 5 for 5.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
What's funny is that this one, if it was going to be a girl, we were going to be done. But if it was a boy, I'm like,
no,
we got to go for 5 for 5.
So
now.
What happens if 5 is a boy? Then you got to go for 6.
We're done. We're done either way.
That's against the plan. There's no way.
Yeah.
So when we have you on in the future, we'll check and we'll find out all the
see.
genders of the future babies and how many you got. You got a whole football team after a few years. That's cool. That's exciting. And you live in LaSalle.
I live, yes.
So you're a homeowner, business owner.
Yeah.
You're the guest that we're looking for. We're trying to, help promote just the idea of living, working, playing in Niagara Falls and Niagara region in general.
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of highlights and a lot of stars and a lot of good things happening.
I think that's the biggest thing is Niagara Falls has kind of gotten poo-pooed on for so long.
And a negative attitude in general.
They have this opinion of what Niagara Falls is, but I'm just out there telling people, listen, Niagara Falls is not the Niagara Falls that you think it is,
and has the ability to be tapped for so much more.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a little tiny bit of gold has been found, but underneath there's just tons of gold.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of scrape all the shit off the top of it to get to it. And kind of ignore some of the shit. And
I was just on
visionaries.
I was just on an entrepreneurship podcast, and that's what we were talking about. Is just the opportunity that there is in Niagara Falls right now, because the people are coming. and they're looking for things to do. They just needed the right partner to connect them with those things to do.
Yeah.
So that's why we started Explore Niagara.
You're right. And somebody wouldn't even know. I mean, like you said, Explore Niagara, like someone wouldn't know what to do just by driving around. They'd see the gorge, but they don't know they can go down in it.
Yeah.
They'd go to the falls, but don't know they can also go on the Maid of the Mist. I mean, they'd see the signs, but you know what I mean? It's, you don't see it. I mean, even I had a friend come in from England and had stayed with me. And when we were driving around, she was like just marveling at the trees. And when you drive down those streets like Pershing, Munson, Limburg, the streets down, all of our streets in the city are canopy of trees.
Yeah.
We don't even think of it. We just drive them, but that is special to somebody. She was blown away by the changing of the colors in the fall and how the canopy of leaves were over the cars when we were driving. And I was like, I don't even pay attention to that. I thought that was just normal.
Like, what do you mean this is special?
And you could tap into even something like that. And my other friend too, he was always amazed about driving, say like we're going to Newfane or to Lockport and you're driving down 31, the way people have bikes and antiques and things on the side of the road. Yeah. That was unheard of in his country. Like he thought it was awesome. Like pull over here, pull over there. Like, really? I mean, there's a vegetable stand. We see this every day. But even little things like that we don't pay attention to, like the pizza, the little food spots that we say hole in the wall, but someone would go there and think this was the best place ever. And we got that old nostalgic feel like on Niagara Street with the bars and, some of the, like DiCamello's Bakery and those, hometown favorites. So that's what we have to really push out. And you're definitely doing that.
Yeah,
and your crew,
for sure.
Even the ones you're battling with the tourism and down in the tourism district, they're all doing the same thing as you.
Yeah,
it's
true.
The same goal, even though you might butt heads a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny when I interview people. One of the questions I ask them is about Niagara Falls, what it means to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't teach somebody, to have that just love for Niagara Falls. Right. And so, I mean, it's like I can teach you about Annie Taylor going over the falls in 1901, but making you fall in love with Niagara Falls, like I can't teach you that.
Yeah.
So
I think it's that while you're from Cheektowaga, what made you come to the falls?
So I've been gradually moving closer and closer to Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
My whole life. So it's like went from there, and then I moved to Tonawanda, and then I moved to Niagara Falls. I became a tour guide probably 13, 14 years ago, and became on TripAdvisor the #1 tour guide in Niagara Falls. And then from there, ended up starting my own business.
Perfect. That's like the perfect segue heading right into it.
Yeah.
Slowly learn everything and then not just getting tossed into the fire, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
13 years of being a tour guide or whatever, 10 years of. How long has your company been in business now?
So 2018 is when we started. Yeah.
That's good.
And then when we first started, it was me doing tours, answering phones. My wife was customer service.
Perfect.
She would send out confirmation emails manually for every single person.
Typewriter, pulling the paper
Right.
out.
Get the pigeon out.
Yeah.
Send it out.
Disguising your voice like, oh, let me get the manager. Oh, this is him. The old tricks showing that make it sound like you have 30 employees.
Yeah.
It's cool. Come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what will you be doing for anything for Christmas as far as Christmas festivities and traditions?
So my wife's family, they're Italian, and so we do the 7 fish dinner.
Oh yeah,
man. I wish I grew up Italian. I had no idea what I was missing out on.
You're still growing up, and you're getting the taste of it.
I'm glad my kids get to know this their whole life.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah, that's the fun thing too about the falls. The different nationalities coming together, especially downtown. And in the tourist district, it's nationalities around the world. And, I never realized either that it's a religious experience for some people. When we say, like, why are they coming here? It's because it's...
Yeah, they believe that water has a healing power.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why they come to Niagara Falls.
We all have to take a dip.
Yeah.
We all have to go into the waters, take a drink. And, what is it, negative ions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's positive ions.
Interesting. I think negative.
There's some ions. And
it's
they
the ions.
affect us.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
And spend money. The tourists come and spend money. And
before I was a tour guide, I didn't realize just the flow, like the massive flow of people that are coming in here and leaving. And we're just out here living our lives, not realizing that they're here.
As a kid, I remember playing wiffle ball and like pick up basketball, whatever, with friends, and tourists, we'd know because their plates were Canadian. They'd come driving. They were lost, and they'd want to know where the falls were. And we're in LaSalle. Like, wow, you're way lost. But it was at least once a week. The tourists
now you're
are
an adult
everywhere.
and you're like, oh, they weren't that lost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a lot closer. We thought it was on the other side of the world. But even just that many tourists back, like when Canadian shopping was huge, and then it kind of took a dip, and now I think it's back, right?
Yeah, it seems like it is.
I had a listener viewer mention today in an email to me about, they're like, Stens, you're really out of the loop. I was listening to the podcast with Galen, and I didn't know the bakery closed. Oh. I didn't know how much the garbage tax was, but I used to know every detail. And for the past few years, I got a different job, was doing different things. Now I need to reacquaint myself with the facts and figures, because I didn't know that place closed or this place opened. But yeah, getting to brief education from you today on some of the things downtown.
And you know what, though? I'd say that you're definitely not alone in that. I think that there's a lot of people that grew up here. Mm-hmm. They love Niagara Falls. Most of those people that are angry about Niagara Falls, the reason they're angry is because they love Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
true.
You know, when a girl breaks up with you, if you didn't care about her,
I hate her.
You're not upset.
Right.
You know, it's the girl that you love
that's a
that
good
you
one.
got mad about.
Yeah, you got to admit it.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is, I think there's a lot of people that are feeling that way. Yeah. And they just haven't been to Niagara Falls in a while.
Right. They need some Niagara therapy.
That's right.
Come down and listen to the roar of the falls and get some mist on your face.
Yeah,
and
just
then you'll
remember.
Fall in love again.
That's right.
What are some of your favorite historic moments that you, like you said, Tugby and those stories? Are there any that pop into your head that you generally tell the crowds?
Yeah, so we have a few different tours. So we have like the Daredevil tour, talks about mostly the tightrope walkers, people that have gone over the falls, barrels and stuff like that. We have our Mobsters and Mayhems tour, talks a little bit about like the Magadino family, but then also talks about like McKinley assassination, talks about like some bootlegging and stuff like that. But that like 1901 era, right that turn of the century, it was like really interesting. Just like a quick story that's kind of fascinating me. So there's like the Edison wars. You know, Edison ends up inventing the electric chair to prove that alternating current, which is Tesla, is dangerous, and don't use alternating current. It's dangerous, right? So he ends up doing that. Tesla, he ends up lighting up Buffalo for the Pan Am Expo, showing off to the world what he's capable of doing. McKinley ends up coming into town. McKinley ends up getting assassinated. And then the guy that assassinated McKinley is the first person to get the death penalty from the electric chair.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of like some
interesting
interesting stuff that's happened around that time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Didn't Edison fry or electrocute an elephant?
An elephant, yeah.
Prick.
Just to show
what an asshole.
Alternating current's dangerous. Don't use it.
Yeah, right. Oh, my gosh. So a lot of that stuff is pretty cool, too, with like the Niagara Falls Museum. Just the look of the old photos, and then you see what's there now, and it's unbelievable. Yeah. That this used to be on the corner, this Grand Hotel used to be on the corner, and
a lot of it's gone.
And now it's not, you know. Yeah. And I try to keep a positive vibe on the podcast because we could flip it and go the other way.
Oh, absolutely. 4 hours. I mean, I get it. But
yeah, it's harder to.
That's kind of our hope with our building, because if you look at our building in comparison to like the original Tugby's, they have some very similar feel to it. So our goal is gradually work on the facade of the building, getting it a little bit more towards that like historic feel.
It's a nice building.
Yeah, it's
really
beautiful.
Nice. People should take a look and come by, and because if you're at the casino or anywhere downtown, pull over and walk in. Now, especially with Tugby's,
all day we look out that window, we see all the people going to go get their gas. I'm just like, man, if they only knew what was inside this building, like just come across the street
or go over and lose $200 pulling a slot machine.
Right, you could have bought so many nice things.
Soaps, yeah, and you could hear Nico talk. Be Tugby, yeah, he could perform. Him and Rob could.
That's right.
Sell you some stuff. Those guys are good salesmen, though.
That's right.
That's damn sure. Yeah, definitely. So we'd like to have you back. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. We'd like to have you back every few months. It would be awesome if you can give us an update, and we'd love to keep on promoting and on the NiagaraStuff Facebook page. Anything that you want us to put out, we'll definitely put out and try to get some people there and
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
and be a part of the changing that's going to happen downtown.
Yeah,
because
and
it
it's
is happening. Yeah, I remember growing up, it was all plywood. Everything was plywood for me. I mean, we grew up in the time it wasn't a huge shopping district on Main Street when I was growing up. Old Fall Street we didn't even know about. I never went down there. It was always plywood. You
So
know,
you grew up hearing about the glory
yeah,
days.
oh yeah, and like maybe caught the tail end because I was in the 80s and like Jen's was just closing. I don't remember any of that really too much, but I'm told, and I see the pictures and I'm like, it's incredible, and it can be like that again.
Absolutely.
Especially and to the buildings. If you see a lot of the cornerstones of the buildings, they're always like 1921 to 25 ish, and that's 100 years ago. It could happen again.
Absolutely.
The same thing. More buildings going up with new cornerstones that say 25 on it, 26.
Yeah.
So
That'd be cool.
we got some stuff to look forward to. So I appreciate you coming by. Thank you, and we hope to see you again.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thanks, Nick. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Cool. Thank you.